Growing up, I was a huge Dale Earnhardt Jr. fan. From when I jumped into the sport at the age of 7 to the moment of his retirement in 2017, and throughout all of his Xfinity starts in the years since. Dale Jr. for me is NASCAR. The same way I root for the Cubs in baseball and the Vikings in the NFL, I always was there with a Dale Jr. hat on, my Lucky Dale Jr. shirt, and a notepad writing down every stat and every place he could be in points during the race. And the thing is, Jr. had tons of fans like these. To me, he was sort of the pulse when it came to what the old school fans and the diehard fans of NASCAR loved. While Jeff Gordon was great for outsiders coming in and those who didn't really fit the NASCAR mold, Dale Jr. was the other side of the coin, the one who could bring in all of those fans of his dad, of any driver that had retired before, and to this day, I think his career still has ripple effects into NASCAR. And you would even see it at the track, the Earnhardt effect. If Jr., say, blew an engine during a race, you would see a quarter of the grandstands file out and leave. You would see them all come to their feet at Talladega when he would take the lead in that clad red 8 car with the big butt on the hood. But to me, I think that Jr., while having a huge effect on the sport for his entire driving career, both before and after his dad passed, before and after the DEI drama, and before, during, and after the winless streak, and everything in between, I think he's had a bigger impact on the sport since he retired in 2017. To me, the effect is multi-pronged. It's not just one thing like the driving was. Jr. is everywhere in NASCAR media today, and he's everywhere in NASCAR discussion. If there's any narrative, Dale Jr. or someone adjacent to Dale Jr. is involved in it. And I think that is why he is such a big force. It's the Dale Jr. effect. A couple examples are, first off, the TV side. He has been a TV analyst for NBC Sports since 2018. His first race on the job in the Cup Series, and he had a bona fide hit with the slide job call. He breathed a new, fresh air into a stale booth at NBC. Make no mistakes, in the 3 years before Dale Jr. jumped into the NBC booth, this was not a popular side of the schedule. While Fox may have been faltering at the time, many still love to hear DW, Larry Matt-Quippen, Jeff Gordon, and especially Mike Joy. But on the NBC side, many basically memed Rick Allen, and Jeff Burton and Steve Letarte got on the nerves of many. But it felt like when Dale Jr. got in there, it was the missing piece put in, and it was really the heartbeat of the booth put in. Jr. had that excitement, similar to a Tony Romo at the time, or now, you would say, a Greg Olson. He had the analytical side of it too. He really has slowly, or even quickly, become NASCAR's John Madden almost. A former, well, in this case, competitor that now has come into the booth and may have an even greater lasting legacy, even in his short time so far, than he did while he was competing. And when you look as well, he has really been the identity of NBC Sports, when it comes at least to NASCAR fans. He can do basically anything they ask of him. He can be an analyst, he can be on pit road, he can be the lead commentator in specific races, he can jump to the Olympics, the Super Bowl, IMSA, the Indy 500, and of course, the main bread and butter of his coverage, NASCAR. I think you really saw how NASCAR fans view him because of the recent news that he may not be back with NBC next year. It really sent a lot of NASCAR fans into existential crisis because he is the best part of NBC by far. But the TV side isn't the only part that Jr. has really played in modern NASCAR. The podcast side is huge, as it is really the new wave of NASCAR and just in general entertainment, and it really is something also that controls the narrative. First off, of course, you have the Dale Jr. download, a mix of history and news discussion. On the historic side, he can get some of the best stories out of people from both his knowledge and just knowing the sport well enough to know that some people will be really good behind a mic that you never would have guessed of before or nobody else would put on their show. He really is the best out of the best when it comes to that, and for the NASCAR historical side, he's become the Joe Rogan of NASCAR podcasting. But that also plays in hand with the fact that he is really good at showing the news side of the sport. Anything that is big going on in NASCAR, from Charter Talk to Speed Weeks to you name it, playoffs, any of it, Dale Jr. has an opinion on, a well thought out opinion, and probably some of the best backed opinions by both his resume as well as knowledge of the sport, and he is able to shift any narrative. You can see different times where somebody or some groups of fans will say something like, say, the Clash should go away, and then Dale Jr. will talk about wanting to bring it back to Daytona, and suddenly everyone, even those who are talking about making it go away, are like, you know what, maybe making it a Daytona race is a good idea again. Things like that. Junior has that pull with the average fan, so if he wants it to shift towards a narrative NASCAR wants, he'll put it out there. If he doesn't, he'll talk against it. And that's something that is really special and cannot be replaced by anybody else. It is seriously a one-of-one kind of dissertation when it comes from an Earnhardt like him. But there's other podcasts that he has control of with Dirty Mo Media. Door Bumper Clear, probably the most controversial side of NASCAR entertainment in general. These guys are unfiltered, whether you love it or hate it, and I think they can be more honest and open because they have Dale Jr. behind them. If they run into a rut, Dale Jr. can help get them out of it, as long as they don't do something too stupid. Action's Detrimental. Denny Hamlin's show is probably the biggest hit of the last year of NASCAR podcasting, and it opens up a current driver perspective and owner perspective of the NASCAR Cup Series. And now Denny can have a bit more of a voice in the sport by being more critical, but also by just being himself. And it's opened Denny up to also be more popular. And the newest one they brought on is the Teardown Podcast. Two of the most well-respected NASCAR journalists, and Jeff Gluck and Jordan Bianchi, talking after a race about the good and bad things they like. And it really fills a quick day of post-race show after the fact, maybe an hour or two, about the race itself. You get stuff from the ground, and that's somewhere that Dirty Mo has not been able really to get into until now. Though, if you do want some independent ones, NASCAR Weekly Podcast is tonight on Danny B Talks channel. Myself and my co-host will be on there talking about all the newest NASCAR stuff. So, if you want one of those few non-Dirty Mo podcasts, we got you on that one. But the biggest aspect of Dale Jr.'s effect on the sport is that he is the only universally loved figure in NASCAR anymore. There were plenty of different figures over the years that were loved by fans, and now they've all kind of went away, retired, passed, whatever it may be. Phelps, the president of NASCAR, he's not universally loved. He's criticized all the time, and that's the position he's in. You got Marcus Smith and SMI. They're certainly not away from criticism in any way. And I don't think any driver is universally loved anymore. You have a lot of drivers who are popular, but they have a large amount of haters too. I mean, Chase Elliott, he's the most popular driver in NASCAR, but he's pretty much avoided any way of filling that role that Dale Jr. had. I would honestly say that Dale Jr. is still the face of NASCAR, even though he retired 7 years ago. And Dale Jr. is easily the most influential and respected voices in the sport. And there's plenty that have one of those, but not both. I think Dale Jr.'s effect on this sport is unlike anybody else on the broadcasting competitive side ever, in any sport. He has so much effect among NASCAR fans, both current and past, that he can connect basically anyone in some way. But with that, I'm going to pass it on to you. What do you think the Dale Jr. effect on NASCAR is? Let me know down in the comments below. And while you're at it, leave a like on this video, share this video, and subscribe to this channel for more great NASCAR content. Thank you so much to all my channel members for your continued support. And remember to watch the NASCAR Weekly Podcast tonight on Danny B Talks channel. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, have a good one.